Hi, I'm Rachel Whitefield, certified life coach, and with me is our resident girl with grit, Jaki Black. Thank you for joining us on another fabulous episode of Whiskey Bent and
Spellbound with Black.
Whitefield.
Yes. Let's talk about what we're drinking today, Rach.
Yes, first things first. Well, we have a surplus of Uncle Nearest.
I have so much Uncle Nearest, and I'm
premium,
really not mad.
right? So I just went and got another bottle because you have so much. Because our first guest, if anyone listened to our last show, Eve brought Jaki a bottle all the way from Australia. So she stocked up, and I was like, I have to join you. We love this company so much. So we are throwing down. Mine, of course, is straight out of the freezer. It is cold in my hands. We love it.
I like mine warm because I'm going to throw a splash of ginger.
Splash of ginger.
You got some fancy ice molds? Because I know I do.
But what I loved with Chill Whiskey is fancy ice molds. And today I am premiering a new ice mold.
I love it.
Brand new ice mold. And with fancy sprinkles, onyx black glitter. Because we love it.
Ooh, I have onyx black. I really like it.
Yes. So the black didn't come out. We're gonna see a little bit more. But first of all, my Star Wars ice mold themes. They are the Han Solo. Like in
stuck
in carbonite, like
in jail.
In jail. So I have large and small. Now they look like little Lego bricks.
Oh my gosh, those are really cute.
They're so cute. It's like the little man stuck in carbonite. Not the most handsome Harrison Ford's ever been. I'll just say that. But they are with black onyx glitter from Fancy Sprinkles. Han Solo in carbonite from Star Wars.
Ooh. I have my standard diamonds and roses. But I just got a new shipment from Fancy Sprinkles. We love them so much.
We love them so much.
And I got the gold luster powder, 24 karat gold. And I'm really excited because I've been loving the way your luster powder looks in your drinks.
The luster powder, just that shimmer it gives is just breathtaking to me. So I'm going to put all of my little Han Solo brick ice, little Lego brick of ice, just pack it in there. Specialty ice inbound. All right.
My drink is already gorgeous.
It is so gorgeous.
It's already, I haven't put the mix in it, but look. So pretty.
Oh, so pretty.
It looks like I'm drinking liquid gold. Yeah, I love
black is not for everybody. The last time I used it, I think I put it in my bat signal ice mold.
The bat signals,
and
yeah.
That was it was October. It was so timely. It made it look so smoky. Yes, the new ice molds. I don't know, like the glitter really picked it up too much, but I was like, oh, it's still sparkly because that black onyx has a little bit of silver in it, so it's real nice. So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. But yes, I need to get on that shimmer powder. We must be doing something right because it's hard to find on the website.
I know they were running low on all of the edible glitters, so I'm really excited for them because we know that Fancy Sprinkles is a female-owned company, and we
want to support
when ladies are winning in business. We love it.
And I just want to say thanks, community, for making Fancy Sprinkles so popular. I'm sure we had absolutely a ton to do with that.
Oh, everything to do with it.
Well, cheers,
again,
Clinkies.
Not sponsored. Wink, wink. Clinkies.
Oh. Uncle Nearest.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Uncle Nearest really has like a nice little kick to it. That's why I like to mix it with my ginger. And you know what? After today, I really needed it because this show is something serious.
This show is something serious. It's not something serious. We'll put it that way. So I'm just going to jump into it. Today, we are talking about retroactive feelings. So I had to kind of explain a little bit what that meant to you. And then once I kind of explained it, you knew how you felt about it. Or you're like, okay, I get it. So to me, retroactive feelings means, and I'll put it more into context of like, I'm not angry now. I'm angry about something that happened in the past now that I have more information. you know? So like the big sister Rachel that she is now, I am angry on behalf of little sister Rachel of who I used to be. So, do you want to get into like or should I just jump into it and then we can just go from there?
Mine is not as I have felt retroactive feelings before, but not as like you have such a specific situation that you recently went through that I think it's important to put it in context before like talking about mine, because mine is just a lot about regret and jealousy. But yours is like so very timely, and I absolutely know that there are women out there who have experienced this exact thing, but they don't have a way to verbalize it. So let's just talk about your situation.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm gonna chime in because that's what I'll do.
Yeah, of course. So, let's just say, so I just want to say like this podcast is about being honest. And that means being honest with our audience about what we're going through and being honest with ourselves, truly. So it's like we are in the business of talking about the messiness of being human. And I'm going to talk about something that I'm not proud of feeling, but the feelings are there. And I would be doing myself and every one of our listeners a disservice if I acted like that wasn't a real thing I was moving through. I feel like this isn't going to last me very long, but it was something that I like to sit in my feelings and be like, okay, like let's move through them. And I don't like acting like I don't feel something. Like if I'm upset,
really
I'm like,
intentional about it.
yeah, I just want to be like, oh yeah, that doesn't bother me, but then it's eating me alive inside. No, it's not. That's not fair to me. So, so listeners who've been with us for a while remember one of our first podcasts about Jackie was talking about her journey into motherhood, but I was talking about my story of being child free. And so as I talk about this experience that I'm going through right now, or like emotionally working my way through, I want to say that I love my life. I love my life. I will say that with my full chest, 2 feet planted. Love it. I love where I live. I love my home. I love my job. I love the life that I've created for myself. I love that I got divorced. That was the second hardest thing I've ever had to go through in my life. And it truly is oh so sweet on the other side. So it was worth going through. I am genuinely and sincerely in love with my life. And there's not one thing that I would change. And that includes being a child-free woman. Like, I know that children were not the right choice for me. There's never been anything inside of me that said, you should have a kid, or like that desire, So we can link that other show in the show notes below, but it's just like as a reference, like I love where I'm at in my life. Like I am on the cusp of being 40 wonderful.
Yeah.
So
like literally the cusp, like days away.
By the time this publishes, I will be 41 wonderful.
Yeah. The day that it publishes, actually.
Yeah. So happy birthday to me.
Happy early B-Day.
Yeah. And I am in such a great place in my life. So I think that's why feeling something retroactively kind of threw me for a loop, because I don't wish to be back to that part of my life. I don't wish to have this other thing going on in my life. It was just, I am retroactively upset on behalf of my younger self. So let's get into it. So not growing up, but like when I got married very young to my it's called the Limey. He is from straight off the plane from England, and he had been denied twice for a work visa, but he wanted to have his American dream. So he needed to find a wife. And we were dating. We dated for about 6 months before we got married. But like I knew that we had to get married very quickly before his visa expired, so he wouldn't become an illegal immigrant at that point. If we wanted to stay. Your face is so disgusted right now.
Because I don't like this story, and every single time you start it out, I get so protective over you that like legit it's on site for this man. I get retroactively angry over it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I am angry for my friend, and I'm so protective of my friends, and you know that. I
Yeah,
will, like,
absolutely.
I'm the one they call to bury the body.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, you are our person.
Yeah.
So, when he proposed, I knew that it would have to be very quick. There wasn't much engagement. I think we were engaged for like a month and we went to Vegas and got married. However, before he like we were engaged to be married, but it's like I never really called him my fiance or anything. Like I barely called him my boyfriend. But before we were married, to his credit, give credit where credit is due, he said, if you want kids, I am not the man for you.
He was very clear about that.
He was very clear. He has 6 Mormon sisters. He is 10 of 11. Like, he's technically 7 of 8 because 3 died in infancy. Like, he
Jesus.
has been around kids his entire life.
Big
And
families.
he's like, I'm all babied out. Like, no, thank you. I've been around him. Like, he's the uncle to people who are more like your cousin's ages,
Yeah.
because he was like the babiest of brothers. So he is just like, hey, if you want kids, I'm not the man for you. But he would have forsaken his green card like in the bag for not having children. That is how much he did not want to have children. And again, I just thought it was kind of like, oh, it's something that happens to you, not something that you like actively choose or desire or want. So I was very much like, okay, like I want to be with you. So I don't like, I've never known if I wanted to have kids. I didn't realize that is a feeling you have inside of you. So we had decided like we were not going to have children. But the conversation didn't end there. And what the Limey would do about twice a year, he would say, like, do you want to have a baby? And I would say, like, no, like, we agreed that we weren't going to do that. Like, that's not in the plan. Like, I would be confused about why he would ask me if I wanted to have a baby. And then I would say, like, no, like, we're not going to do that. Like, we had agreed, right? And he says, that was a test and you passed.
First of all, that's super unhealthy to do. You don't say something to your partner, and then whenever they say what you want them to say, like, you don't, that was a test. You just don't do that. That's emotional abuse. Please continue.
Thank you, because no one was there to tell me like he's kind of fucking with me. And so again, like from the time like first meeting until I had moved to Colorado, probably about like 15 years this man is in my life, because he left at 13 years, but it took us a year to get divorced. So we were still like talking and stuff in the divorce phase, obviously. But even as after and again, for a refresher, he left me. He left the marriage. And then, and again, who Rachel is, I'm not going to give a man an opportunity to leave me twice, to tell me he doesn't want me twice. I heard you the first time. So after he wants to get back together and I'm like, no, or what the fuck are you talking about? You left me. Like, this is not something I can move past. And he was just like, oh, do you want to move somewhere else? Do you want to have a baby? Like, bitch, we aren't even living together anymore. And you're asking me truly and earnestly if I want to have a baby to like save this. And he's like, if that's what you want, you could have it. This is the worst we've ever been. And we are so far on the rocks. Like, we are on dry land at this point, So it's just like, why would I ever have a baby in that situation? But backing up to when he was in the Navy, and we're about like 7, 8 years into our marriage at this point, and I'm, 30 years old, and I'm always a person with the plan. Again, I'm not planning on having children, but it was also like a lot of people around me in that age group are getting pregnant. A lot of people are having oopsies or something.
Oh, especially as a Navy wife, it was probably every single time they deployed, there was at least 10 pregnancies.
So many babies. Yeah.
So many.
I was like, oh, if I accidentally get pregnant, like, what will our plan be? Like, how will we manage this together? If again, I'm not planning on having a baby, but like shit happens in your life. And if we're a team, go Team Whitefield, like, how is this going to happen? Like, what are we going to do if this comes our way? And he was like, again, he's in the Navy, and he's like, I'll be out to sea a lot. Like, I would have been, and not just like, oh, a single parent when your spouse is out to sea. It's like, that is your baby. That is not our baby. I would be a single parent in a marriage of two people. And I'm like, well, I don't want that. Or he would be
So
like,
relatable for every Navy wife, just
yeah. And that's not
every
being a
Army
single
wife.
parent when you have to be when he's gone. He's like,
Right.
you do everything. If you want a baby, you do it.
Yeah,
Like,
like basically if you want one, it'll be yours and
yours.
not
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah. And I was like, no one wants to be a single parent in a marriage, like that's very stressful. And I don't want that. And I don't, again, there wasn't a huge desire to have a baby, especially like for a decade. It is, that's bad. You don't want that. Like, if you get pregnant, you will have an abortion. That is not something that we are going to have in our marriage. And if you don't, it will be yours. His flesh and blood. So
Okay.
again, like, I'm like, okay, like babies equal bad. Babies equal scary. Like, we don't want that in our lives.
Babies equal the end of your marriage.
Yeah, it would equal like, I can be married to my husband, or I can have a baby and be alone and divorced. I cannot have both. This is not a family we are building. So that is what I was just ingrained with practically every day for 13 years. You better not want one. So I never even knew that I had a choice to have one.
Right. Deep breaths.
Sorry, this is getting to me. And so, like,
it's real, dude.
It's real.
While you're catching your breath, it is a real significant feeling.
Yeah.
And like I said right at the beginning of the show, you are not alone in this feeling. There have been so many women across the country who were with men who like they wanted something out of that relationship, and those men just refused almost to give it to them and threatened them with like, you're going to be alone if that's what you want. Like, you're not, I don't want that, so you can't want that. Yeah. And then these men, eventually they either break up, or these men break their heart and they get with this other woman, and then they become this person that you wanted in the marriage. And like, it was almost like, here's why I hate that. This makes me so angry as your friend, as like a woman in general. Even if a stranger told me this story, I would just can't stand him. Mm-hmm. To me, it made me feel like, and I'm almost feeling this like in an empathetic way. Like, did I get used? That's how I feel.
Yeah.
For you.
So like, what is happening is that I found out recently that my ex-husband's new wife is pregnant.
Yeah. And they've only been married a couple of fucking years.
Like a year and a half.
That's it.
Yeah, no, she's pregnant. And
not only is she pregnant, but he went into this marriage and she already had children.
Yes. Young children.
So it feels like, to me, and this is why I don't like it, this is why it's on site, I don't care. It feels like my friend got used.
Yeah.
And as soon as the 10-year time frame was up, it was almost like he was counting down, like trying to find something. And it's so infuriating to me, because it's like, this is you're not the only story like this. It just keeps happening. Like, if you don't want to be with somebody, don't be with somebody. Don't use people.
Yeah. And that's why I feel like retroactive, like confusion and stuff, because I'm like, sure, I don't want his baby. I'm very much glad we did not have a baby. It made my
But what if you did and he convinced you to not want it?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, the choice was taken from me before I even could choose for myself, kind of. And so, or it's just like, I feel really like brainwashed of just like, hey, you don't have it. And even today I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm phasing out of child rearing years. Like, don't get me wrong. And again, I love my life. So I'm like, I feel confused, but I feel like I feel so lied to.
Yeah.
you know, of like, I don't wish that I was her. Like, the world needs more love in it. I hope they are very truly and deeply happy together. I like, if they found each other, the world needs more love in it. And yes, like, go forth and like be happy. However, I'm just like, did he tell her that? Like, or it doesn't really matter. So I guess it's more like how I feel is badass Rachel now, who I am, a Rottweiler of a
Yeah.
fucking woman who's badass, will stand on her power and stand on her own business. And she is not, she's taking no prisoners and like not taking shit. And so, like, I love who I am, you know? And
Yeah.
it's like, and I love my life and I'll go back to it, but it's just like, big sister Rachel is pissed on behalf of little sister Rachel, younger Rachel, littler version Rachel, you know, like, so it's always this like retroactive confusion, retroactive, like, I feel lied to, like, I don't feel used, obviously, I'm not the one that had the baby, but it's also like,
I feel
you,
used for you
yeah,
because it feels like
maybe I
he
haven't moved
needed
to
a
that yet.
green card
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted as little connection with you as possible. Like, can't have no fit, like, not emotionally, but like, you didn't buy a house ever.
Mm-mm. No, we did,
You
and
didn't
then,
have
but that was like
kids.
way earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, like super early.
Yeah.
And it got you. You don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
You had to give up your business,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? He
Yeah.
wanted absolutely no difficult connection with you
Mm-hmm.
throughout the entire marriage. And it like for real, like at 10 years, it just feels like as soon as that 10-year mark hit, he was looking for whatever fucking excuse he needed to get out because he got what he needed out of you.
Yeah.
And he didn't, he might have been young and stupid and like, in the
Yeah.
military, and that might have been part of his decision. And people are allowed to
They're allowed
change
to
their
change
mind.
their mind. I want
They're
to see
allowed to
that.
change their
Like,
minds.
this has nothing to do with his actions very deeply or his reasons why his actions.
Right.
But his actions are his actions. They are now pregnant. And it's like, that is so easy for her to have and for them to build a family when it's like, and again, on your first marriage, you think that's going to be your only marriage. It's
Right.
not
And you
like
guys
he
were
wants to
married
build a
for
family. He
quite
just doesn't
some
want to
time.
build a family with you. It's like, we agreed that we would not build a family. And that
Yeah.
would be it forever, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, like, that's just what I'm moving through right now. And again, it's like fading. But again, it's like, I don't feel regret for not having a baby. I just feel like retroactively, like deeply lied to and deeply manipulated.
I feel for you retroactively used.
Yeah.
I just keep saying that.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I feel
Mm-hmm.
for you. Like, when you told me this, that was my immediate feeling. My immediate question in my head was, and I'm feeling it like basically like on your behalf. Was
Mm-hmm.
I used? Did I get used? Like,
Mm-hmm.
that was my immediate question.
Yeah.
And like, not that I was in this relationship, but I felt it for you. You know what I'm saying by that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
And
it just made me so angry when I saw it, because here's the thing, like, it's not that you weren't expecting it.
mm, so let's put it into context. Like, I had to like do some digging on the internet because once he got married, I had to make sure that he was still going to keep up his end of our legal bargain for our divorce, like keep me
Right.
as the beneficiary of life insurances until our agreement comes to an end in a couple years. And so I was like, okay, well, I gave him the opportunity. You can buy me out of all of it. You can only pay for one wife. So like I had to do some research to find them because like I said, we have like zero contact with each other. Um, so he acts like this first wife, me, like never existed.
Doesn't
So
exist.
I'm like, first of all, girl, you better see how he talks and refers to his exes because he's gonna act like when things get hard and stay hard and he runs, because that is his pattern, he will act like you never existed. And I was like, but he can't do that anymore.
Nope.
Like he's stuck with her forever. Whether or not it works out, that's neither here nor there, but I was like, you have a child together. Like you were going to be a family, even if you in the future decide not to be a family anymore.
Yep.
That's the no bones about it. But so he will be a father, a first-time father at 45, and she is 13 years younger than he is. So she's in her early 30s. So like she's ready, like
Yeah. That's about the time
for her like fourth child. So it's
4 kids he's got now.
For her,
I understand that
yeah.
they are his stepkids, but the
No.
mom usually has primary custody. So
I don't know her backstory. It's not
yeah.
my business, but it's like she does have two. One of her third child was a stillborn. So she gave birth
Oh,
3 times. However, she only has 2 children. So
that's sad.
like she's gone through some stuff. My heart goes out to her, absolutely. And I
Yeah.
kind of understand why she would want another child, to the best that I can. So it's like I don't fault her for like wanting a child with her husband. Like, yes, absolutely. But again, it was like with the green card on the line, you were so apt against it. And then now it's like you're barely married and it's like you're going to have a baby at 45 years old. Yeah. So I was like, okay.
Men usually do mature around 45 though.
Yeah. Like I hope that he is the husband that I always wanted. Like
For her.
yeah. I hope, because the way I am in my heart of hearts in my girl code, I was like, I hope she has a great husband. I hope he treats her so good. I hope he is the man to her that I always thought he was, or I wanted him to be. The world needs more of that, and I hope he's done his work for her sake. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not giving shade on her at all. Like, go live the life that is best for you, girl. Like,
but we are totally shading his motherfucking ass.
yes, I will drag him for filth every single time.
Every single time. Her, you get a girl.
Love it, girl. Love it for you.
Gorgeous. Congratulations.
Yeah.
We support the shit out of you, but fuck your husband. All right.
Yeah. Well, that's how she got pregnant. So but yeah, so it's just like everything that he has denied me and brainwashed me that it is bad to have. It's just like, okay, yeah, I definitely like, again, this baby could have been a surprise for them. Like, who knows? But I was like, what's the meme going around? Born math is fucking without a condom and acting like you're not going to get pregnant.
Literally.
Again, I don't know the situations, we're not in contact, but like through the grapevine, stuff finds its way to me. So, yeah, but it's like, I don't know. My intuition was just like, oh, he married this woman who is significantly younger than he is. And I was like, they're going to have a baby. Like, I'm not pretty good at calling shit, but I nailed
You did
that
call
one.
it.
I
That's
called
like
it.
one of the first things you told me when we first started talking. You were like, he's remarried, and she definitely looks young enough to want a child, another child. So yeah, I'm not really surprised.
So
you did call it. You sent me that text message. I was like, you called it, bitch.
I called it. Yeah. And then when we were Marco Poloing, like I had a couple glasses of wine. Like I wasn't looking too hot when I was processing in real time.
You were a potato drinking wine, quite frankly.
Absolutely. Potato. And then the very next Marco Polo, like I had dark,
bad bitch,
vampy makeup. I was ready to go out and I was like, don't worry, I'm back on my bad bitch shit. Like I'm good. Like
got that out of me.
Yeah, don't bother me. So again, like, but I'm not gonna, again, I am a whole and complete human. There is nothing wrong inside of me or what I am feeling. I don't feel shame about these feelings. It's just like, well, I love my life and I wouldn't actually want to have a baby, but I just feel like really confused and like lied to and like retroactively lied to. Like myself now, I'm good. I feel upset on behalf of my younger self.
Yeah. 20, your Rachel in her 20s might have wanted to have a baby, quite frankly, but she was married to a man that was constantly telling her, I don't want a baby. We don't want a baby in our marriage. If we have a baby, it could be the end of our marriage. And like that does something to your brain as a young person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and like, I always felt like if I married a man who wanted children, I would have had children. So I was like, oh, I just married a man who did not want children. And so I was like, okay, we are not having children. And so I was like, okay, like So that's kind of like just what I've been moving through lately. I'm on the tail end of it, but I am like, good luck with his OCD that is like undiagnosed and like gets crazy when a baby is chaos, you know?
Here's what I know. Here's what I know about Hispanic women. Because I know that we know that she's Hispanic. And being Hispanic myself is that we can be a little bit OCD too when there's kids around. We have a little Olympia on the weekends. We throw on Selena. We get the whole house clean. Should be fine.
Hopefully,
we're happy for her. Fuck him though.
Yeah. Exactly.
His girl power.
I want to say this is what, when it's like we think about like, oh yeah, his dad and like the name, he's got this name passed down, this first and middle name to every first son. Like his dad is Isaac James, his brother's Isaac James, his dad is James Isaac, grandfather Isaac James, great grandfather James Isaac, right? So it's like all this like lineage, right? And so I was like, okay, we kind of know, like if we
really
ever
creative,
had a baby,
really creative family.
Think about it. And this is what my husband has said to me when we were like, okay, if we ever had to have a baby, like would we name it something? Like, do you have something that you're sad that it will die on the vine of your family lineage and legacy? And he was like, no, but if we had a baby, I would just call it DK. And I was like, DK, like, what would that stand for? And he says, Dream Killer Whitefield.
What the fuck? That's dark, dude.
Yeah. So he's like, a baby is the end of everything.
Well,
so like when he would just refer to our like non-existent child as like DK, we don't want DK to show up. Dream Killer Whitefield. This is my marriage.
I was going right now. I was going to be devil's advocate and be like, you know, some men, again, they don't really mature until they're well into their 40s, emotionally. And so maybe he found and I don't know, but that's a fucking dick thing to say. So now fuck him again.
Yeah. Like it's hard to be like, I want to just think about, just err on the side of like benefit of the doubt. But I was like, I can't. I won't. So yeah, like my feelings are my feelings. They are valid. They will be moved through in the time that they take. Nothing wrong with that. It was just like, this is what I am moving through. This is kind of like, I haven't let it get dusty in the back of my mind. Like I haven't put it down yet. And so I just like, I want to share something that is vulnerable to me. Like I've never cried on the podcast before. You have. I have not.
I love to cry on the podcast. Yeah. I'm a crier. It is what it is.
I'm not a big crier, but I was like,
I'm emo into my soul.
Obviously, you know, like if I am crying when I talk to you, like, oh, this is not.
No. If you're crying, if you send me a message at Marco Polo and you are crying, I'm ready to fucking fight somebody because I know something happened.
Yeah.
I know it's something very serious if you're like openly crying.
Yeah.
It is very me, if I'm openly crying, I could have seen a sloth video.
You're just
could have seen a baby sloth. I could have seen, what I could have seen? I could have seen a donkey get a new toy.
Yeah.
A herd of baby pigs. All three of those things I saw today got a little verklempt. It's fine.
Oh, you're so cute. Yeah. So Rachel's not much of a crier, but I'm not going to deny myself if I feel something that I do need to get out and cry with, like I'm not like, oh yeah, like I feel sometimes like I was at first, I'm like, my feelings are valid. I kind of felt a little dumb to be like, why do I even feel this way? I shouldn't. But I was like, well, no, like every day for 13 plus years was no.
You know what I
don't
feel
even
dumb?
Think about a whisper of maybe wanting it.
No. You know what I feel dumb over?
Huh? Oh, I was gonna say I forgot my birth control when we were going on a trip once on vacation, and I was like, oh my God, driving out to California from Arizona. I was like, oh my God, I forgot my birth control. And he was like, he is a man to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't mind for the pun. Cut his nose off to spite his face. And he was like, fine, we just won't have sex on vacation. Like the hint of I could accidentally maybe get pregnant because I had been off my birth control is like, we just won't even have sex. So, and I was like,
his
hold
ass.
on, like, let me call my doctor. Let me see if I can get another pack. Like, I was on the pill at the time, like, get another pack, send over to the Walgreens by where we will be before we get on our cruise. You know, like, I got it all worked out, but he was immediately like, oh, well, like,
Upset.
not even like, it's below.
Bitch, pull out. Put a condom on.
like,
Shut up.
I am, and I have a latex allergy, you know.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's
But
like, yeah, but it's
special
like,
condoms.
but again, you could go buy condoms, you know, whatever. It's not the end of the world. He could just be like, it's blowjob week for me. Go me.
Yeah.
Like nothing. He's like, we just won't have sex because you can't get pregnant. Like,
Can't stand him.
yeah. Yeah. So it's just like it's like these small things that are coming to the forefront of my mind of like, it's not just he said he didn't want to have a baby right at the beginning. It's testing me every couple of months for 13 years. It's very much like, how could you forget your birth control? Like, how
That
dare
is
you?
yeah, you were brainwashed. This is fucked up. This
Yeah.
this entire thing is fucked. That is to the extreme. I understand that what I'm saying is very extreme. He probably didn't purposely do this.
Yeah.
But it's still very like controlling, manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for a better word because like
And
I was told that
was-
I'm using my words are too extreme when I'm talking about these men. But you know what?
I'm here for it. But also I mean, grew up in the church, very like listen to what the man wants. I was very malleable and very moldable.
Right.
And
Yeah.
in these very formidable years of becoming an adult, at least I was 21 when I got married, but it's like I was very, very much formed by this relationship
Sure.
from 21 to 35, you know?
Yeah, that's your growing up years. Like
Yeah.
people like people think that like you turn 18 and you're an adult, but like as a 41-year-old woman, we obviously know that 19 to 30,
Mhm.
that's you becoming an adult.
Yeah. And
That's
this
you be
was
that's when you learn your big hard, you learn some really big hard lessons in those years.
yeah.
And it really shapes the way you think about how to live your adult life.
Yeah. And, you know, I am like we say like dismissive avoidant. We've talked about that previously on the show, or like when we say like hyper independence is a trauma response. When maybe I am moody one day or hormonal or whatever, and it's just like I'm crying and I want to like curl up into my man's shoulder and like if he's supposed to be my rock and I'm supposed to turn towards him, like, oh, like, let me cry on your shoulder. He's like, this man has fucking 6 older sisters and a mom. And he was like, I don't know what to do with the crying woman. So why don't you go into the bedroom and come out when you're done? So it's like, I have to look internally. And then
if I see those fucking cab doors coming at me,
he's got
I'm gonna
big
punch
ears,
him right in the face. I swear to God, I know he doesn't listen, but you listen to me, motherfucker. Cab doors. I know you on site.
Yeah.
Period. You sent my friend to the room. You sent my friend to her room when she was crying. You suck as a human being.
Husband was not. Yeah. The person I should be crying
your
on the shoulder
husband is supposed to be your best friend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't know what to do with the crying woman. So can you just like handle that and then like come out when you're feeling better? Like, why would I ever want to bring a child into that? You know?
I'd swipe period blood across his face just to be a bitch about it.
Yeah. And so it was
right across the face.
It's very frustrating. And I'm like, again, like we know I'm not much of a crier. So it's not like he has to like comfort me very often, you know, but that's kind of what it was. And so but then, you know, it's bringing up all these things, but I also just want to say, like, when I say I am so in love with my life, where I'm at in my life, who is in my life, like the person I'm dating now, we refer to him as Deadpool, like there's nothing that's off the table to talk about. And I have talked about this situation like with him. Because, you know, if I'm feeling weird about something, I'm like, I'm going to share that with my partner.
And what I love about this dichotomy between this previous relationship and your current relationship is that when you came to him with this, he was like, how do you feel about that? he immediately wanted to know how you were feeling and wanted to acknowledge it. And like, this is that one fucking sentence literally is what any woman wants to hear when they're going through some. Look, I got my Trump hands out, and that one fucking sentence. How do you feel about this? You see your woman going through some shit. How do you feel about this?
Yeah.
How
and especially in reference to another man that broke my heart, another man that left me, another man that I also don't want to be with. But the fact that that question has such sincerity and caring behind it, because a lot of relationships I see, it's like, we don't kind of talk about your ex relationships. Like, you don't want to act like they didn't happen. Like, they happened, but they're over there. Like, everything is right here in our relationship in a very healthy way. And so I really appreciate his very sincere question of like, I don't know exactly the words, but it was like along lines of like, how do you feel about that? How are you doing with that? You know? And I was like, I really appreciate it. And that's why I'm like, I'm so glad to be divorced from that man. I am so glad I never settled on just having any relationship. I'm glad I waited for something that I was like, I am ready to have and to be a partner in. And to also say, like, thank you that I am with the right type of person that does have care and understanding and make space for, even though this isn't something that makes him comfortable talking about, he makes space for it. And I assure you, I have cried in our relationship. He has never made me cry. And I've always had that shoulder. So I was like, it was worth getting divorced for, you know, like, it is better on the other
You
side.
did learn a lot of really valuable lessons about what you do and don't want in your person. So like, there's something to be said about every relationship that you go through in that aspect. So like, I love that for you. I love that he's just like, come here. How you feeling?
And I remember when you and I were here, because I was looking back through our notes, and we had said, we just want a come here kind of love.
Yeah.
Put it in the notes. I just want a come here kind of love.
A come here kind of love.
Not, I don't want to see you when I don't want to don't be here when
that's really genuinely all I want. But here's the thing. I want it in somebody that I'm extremely sexually and emotionally attracted to.
Check.
Like, there's a line of men who want to be a come here man to me, and I have no fucking interest in them. But I am talking to somebody right now, and you know what I feel retroactively?
Oh, let's get into your retroactive feelings.
I feel jealousy, straight up jealousy for every single woman he has been with before me. Because I'm like, what'd she have? I'm better than that. What did she have? I am so jealous of every long-term relationship that he has been in prior to me, because I am, you know, if I'm comparing myself to them, or if I'm like, what the fuck? Why haven't you said, like, come here to me?
I will say, when I was, as I like to come in rolling hot with my facts and figures and, you know, science-backed things, I was like, okay, what is the definition of retroactive feelings? Like, what can we say that the like Psychology Today says it? When I Googled retroactive feelings, I just put, what are retroactive feelings? The only thing that ever came up
was
jealousy. And how therapists, how you can move through it, how you can work through it, how like that he's not that person anymore, you know, or like he's not with that person, but you're retroactively jealous. So retroactive jealousy is absolutely one valid and just right at the fucking top.
And here's the thing about me being super jealous about his previous relationships. I'm not a jealous person. I don't get jealous at all. I wouldn't give a fuck. Like, we could go out like on the town, and a line of women could flirt with him, and I wouldn't give two fucks. I don't give a shit if he's out right now flirting with somebody. I don't care, because in my head, I'm like, I'm the prize. I don't give a shit. If he's going to fumble me, like, that's his fucking problem. But I'm like so interested that I'm like, what were you doing with those? What the fuck? Like, I'm so jealous.
Even
jealous. of his previous relationships, because I just want him to be like we just said, come here. That's all I want. But
I
but
think
they got it and I haven't yet.
yeah, because you guys are still in the very early stages of your relationship.
Very early. Like it shouldn't happen yet, right? But here's the thing about me is that I've been through a bunch of really toxic relationships where within 2 weeks they were in love. Fuck, my first marriage, he was in love within 2 days, and I'm like, of course you're in love. That's my toxic trait, is that I think that is obviously what should happen. It is not. They should not be falling in love with you within 2 weeks. They shouldn't fall in love with you. No, that's too fast. And if they are, they should hold it in for at least 6 fucking months.
Yeah.
At least.
I'm a big slow burn.
Yeah, you're a slow burn and he's a slow burn. So, and because of that, I'm jealous of the previous relationships, because I'm like, how long did they take? How slow of a burn were you with them? Because you lived with your last girlfriend. How long did that take? It probably took a while. Let's be honest. It probably took a very long time, and that's fine. But I am like, I want to fight these bitches.
One, or is it misplaced? Do you want to fight those bitches? Because that has nothing to do with you. But also, is it like,
it has nothing to do with
you
me.
love you as you should. But is it almost like an inadequacy of like, what does she have that I don't have?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Which is why I'm so jealous.
And I want to really put the difference between what is jealousy and what is envy.
I am jealous.
Envy
it is very hard for me to feel the emotion of jealousy. Like, I'm telling you, I do not get. We've talked about this before. I will casually take my husband to an orgy and watch him fuck another woman while masturbate. I don't give a fuck. Like, I am not a jealous person. That's nasty for this episode, but I'm just saying. Sorry, listeners. But like, I am very much, yes.
Those women have something that you want and you do not have yet.
The previous women.
Correct.
Right. They have a commitment with him. They had one at least. And like, that's what I want. And because I've never been in a slow burn relationship, I'm just like, how long is this slow burn? I'm ready to go. You want me to move? What are we doing? Like, I'm ridiculous. I'm ridiculous like that. And I know in my head that I don't need to be like that fast. I definitely know that. And I am remaining cool, calm, and collected, except for obviously when I tell all of my business to the fucking podcast.
Yeah.
To all of the listeners.
God's internet. So
God's interwebs.
Yeah.
Could you hear it? Yes. Do I care? Are you listening, baby?
We are nothing if not honest and vulnerable.
So honest
about our situation. So
but I'm not the only girl that feels like this, because I was just talking to my homegirl who's like, man, fuck his exes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's got like, I was talking to my homegirl like literally like 2 hours ago. And she's dating a man who's got a baby's mom, you know what I'm saying? And she's just like, like, I'm just jealous because she got to have his babies. You know what I'm saying?
This is
like,
not the episode for that.
It's not. But like, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But different. Same, but different. Because she doesn't want his babies, but also she's jealous that this other woman got to have the babies, kind of thing.
Back to my story. I'm pissed that she got the choice.
She got the choice. Okay,
I just had a break.
That's a different story.
I'm pissed
my
that she
friend
got
does
the choice.
not want the babies at all.
Yeah.
She's only jealous because he's got babies with this other woman that he doesn't love. And she's just like, they should be my babies. I don't want babies, but them should be my babies, you know, kind of thing. Like, so I definitely am feeling some retroactive jealousy. And like the only kind of it's so common. I'm not the only girl that's that has ever felt retroactive jealousy. But also, I don't know if this is retroactive, but I feel a lot of regret for for specific things that I have done. I don't know if it's like regret or a retroactive shame. I think in this case, they kind of go hand in hand, but my intuition is extremely loud. And when I turned 39 is right when I realized how loud it was, because she screams. She screams. She says full sentences. I'm not even joking. I have very vivid I have vivid memories of talking to my second husband about us getting married. And then in my head, my gut, my intuition was like, this is going to affect your children negatively if you marry this man. It is going, and it said it over and over and over. And I didn't listen because I thought, oh, he's in the military. He's established. He obviously loves me so much. There's no way. He's got 2 kids that he loves so much and he's already dedicated to. There's no way this could hurt my kids. And in the long run, it absolutely did. It absolutely broke them. It absolutely traumatized them because he was ripped out of their lives and basically like died without dying. And my intuition yelled that at me. And so I don't know how I feel about that. Like regret. I feel regret consistently about some of the choices that I've made in my life. I don't know if that is retroactive or current, but I do feel shame retroactively for not listening to my intuition. I'm not even joking when I tell you my intuition is so very loud that now when I hear it, I fucking listen. If I hear no, I walk the fuck away.
A whisper of a hint of no. You're like, no.
No.
Because
I know that I am
that loud
magic.
voice has been pounding on the walls for decades to be listened to. That is why she is so loud now.
Yes.
So
and she is loud. I'm getting chills even talking about my intuition because I know that it is very powerful. Women are so powerful because we have we have this innate intuition. This is magic. This is magic that is born into us. Our womb is connected to the moon. Like it is literally, we are all very much magical beings. And I don't say that lightly because I know that like my intuition is a sixth sense for me. And now, because I've learned how to listen to my intuition, I feel like I've become even more powerful. So I feel regret and shame not listening to her so early on in life when I heard her very, very clearly. I heard her in every single marriage. The first one, I had a cockroach crawl up my leg and my head. In my head, I heard, that's a sign. And then outside, out loud, I said, that's a sign. And that was on the way to the courthouse to get married. My second one, when we were talking about getting married, I heard my intuition. Your kids, think about your kids. Don't do it. This is going to hurt your kids. I did it anyways. My third one, my intuition was screaming at me. Don't do this. You're going to regret it. You're going to get a divorce. This is not going to last. This won't last a year. This won't last a year. In my head. I am psychic in that. I don't know if that's psychic. I don't know if this is a power, but I know that in my life, my intuition is a sixth sense, period. And I feel very shameful. I don't know if that's like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know if that's the right retroactive feeling that I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I definitely feel regret. I definitely feel embarrassed. I definitely feel like, damn, she's been there this entire time and she knows what the fuck she's talking about. And I just been ignoring her.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I just feel like jealousy and regret.
Yeah. So
retroactively, it's terrible.
Like the feelings I'm feeling, like I don't feel upset for me right now. Like I'm so grateful that I never had this baby. But I feel upset for the Rachel that was in that marriage that was like denied the choice.
For sure.
So I can see that like you're carrying that active feeling of the past.
Yeah. Constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly. And I carry this actively. That's actually a great phrase. I carry the active feeling so intensely that now when I hear my intuition, I'm like, fuck, what? What are you trying to tell me? Tell me again. I'm listening. Like I am very much like, tell me what to do. And even if it hurts, even if it sucks, I listen every single time.
Yeah.
Period. You got to listen to your intuition. If you can't hear it, oh God, ladies, your intuition is real. That is a magical power. Men don't have intuition. We do. It's magic.
It's called women's intuition for a reason.
For a reason. That shit is powerful. That shit is
So
powerful.
any additional takeaways before I get to mine and we get to the spellbounding?
You gotta I think my takeaway really is like recognize what those retroactive, because remember when we first started talking about, I was like, I don't know if I have any. I don't know if I have any. And
You
then
had to sit
I
in it to
really
find it.
I did. I had to sit in it. It honestly, you got to be really forgiving with yourself when it comes to retroactive feelings. I think is what my big takeaway is that these are all very, very natural and very, very human, and you should be very forgiving with yourself, but acknowledge them when you feel them. And the thing I want to pass on to our listeners is when you feel these feelings, notice what part of your body you're feeling them in and really feel those feelings.
Lean into
So,
it. Don't hide from it. Mm-hmm.
right. I feel my jealousy in my chest and I feel my regret and my shame right in my gut where my fucking intuition calls me from.
Yeah.
So I acknowledge that and I meditate on those areas of my body when I feel those feelings, and it really helps with like healing that part of my heart and my soul. So those are my takeaways.
That is called a somatic response.
Yes, I know. I've been to therapy, a lot of it.
I feel like my depression, like it's like wrapping around my neck. Like I feel it like right, like up into my neck and like it sits on my chest. So, but like
Yeah.
I asked other people like, oh, I feel it behind my knees or I feel it in my hips. So it's like, just think about where it is, sits in your body because that's really important. But like my takeaways are like, I couldn't help how I felt. I couldn't really put a name to it at first. And I'm like, I feel fine now, but I feel upset for the past me. So it's like, feel what you're going to feel and feel it without shame because I couldn't help but like, it was that kind of happening to me, those feelings, you know? And so I was like, okay, sit in them, move through them. I'm not going to deny it. Like I said before, I'm a whole and complete person and nothing is wrong with me. Nothing I feel is wrong. Nothing I think is wrong. I'm it is what it is, and we're going to sit in it, we're going to experience it, we're going to acknowledge it, we're going to name it, and then we're going to move on, and we're going to put it down, and we're going to let it get dusty. So it's like moving through it is the important part of it. But also it's like if anyone is experiencing retroactive feelings or whatever it is that they're going through, I was like, I don't want anyone to feel shame because I don't feel ashamed about what I'm feeling because I feel like they are valid, even if it's like, I can't help but feeling that way. But also like having a very wonderful support system with you, with my other friends, like Dr. Bestie, like all of them, like no one ever, especially like my partner now, like thank you for like making such a healthy space for me to exist completely and to be my true and authentic self with whatever I was experiencing was really wonderful. And I really want to thank you for that, you know,
Oh,
for like having like, because and what I told you on that polo was I was like, I feel like I kind of felt stupid for crying, but I was like, I'm not going to delete this. This is important for posterity. I know that like you were in Tulum at the time, and it's like, I could delete this. She would never know. But I was like, no, she will get this in a week, and I won't feel this way in a week. But this, how I'm feeling, is valid and it is important. And I'm not going to ignore that. Like, to honor myself to how I felt. Like, honor yourselves is what I'm saying. To like, it's okay. It's okay. You're going to like eventually put it down. It'll get dusty and you won't ever have to think about it again, you know? So
yeah.
that's it. So, oh, excellent whiskey bent portion. I see you shuffling those cards. Are you ready for the spellbound?
I've been taking some deep breaths. This is an emotional.
I feel this is the most emotional like episode that I've been on. So like I am ready for my reading, is how I feel. I'm ready. When you are ready, I am ready. Let me take a sip of my whiskey.
Let's do this. Yeah, let's sip our whiskey.
Knock 3 times. It's gonna be good.
I asked Rachel's spirit guides to give us a little bit of guidance.
Spirit guide through me and to me.
Yeah, for her highest and greatest good.
For my highest and greatest. I know. I got my notepad. I'm ready.
Ooh, I got a little bit of chills right now.
Beyonce, I'm ready for my reading. That's what I call my spirit guide. Like God looks like is Beyonce. She just came out with a new album. Like I just
listened to it today.
What a great time for Cowboy Carter to come out to me, like to be back in my bad bitch shit. Thank you, Beyonce. I'm gonna light my Beyonce prayer candle.
You do have a Beyonce prayer candle too.
It smells so good. You can get it in our Amazon shop. Link them in the show notes below.
Man, that's so fun. First of all, I have a Wednesday Addams prayer candle.
Is it Jenna Ortega?
It is. Yeah, it is Jenna Ortega.
It was like, because I was like, I've seen those. I haven't seen a Christina Ricci, which is our Wednesday.
That is our Wednesday.
But okay, I just was looking through old pictures and I just saw the card that I wrote you for your Christmas present. So I said to Wednesday from Enid, which is
that was a really, really, really cute. I loved it.
I am your Enid.
Okay. All right.
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to receive my blessings.
Yeah, no, get ready.
Buckle the fuck up. I'm so glad you're sitting down.
Buckle the fuck up.
That's what I said.
So I pulled 3 cards, but I don't know if you saw while I was shuffling.
I feel
3
like
cards actually jumped at me.
3 more.
And they jumped before I ever pulled the 3 cards. So I'm actually reading the cards that jumped at me. So the first card is the King of Swords. And the King of Swords has a lot to do with power and truth. Yeah, sharp intellect, clarity of mind. The King of Swords is a representative of truth. He cuts through the deception. That's why he holds so tight with that sword. And he serves as a pillar of strength and a calming of the mind.
I accept. I receive that.
Seriously.
Right. I was standing in my truth today. Good, bad, and the ugly. I was here for it.
But it's followed by the 7 of Wands in reverse. And the 7 of Wands in reverse has a lot to do with feeling overwhelmed. Which, yeah, you felt very overwhelmed with this feeling. And I can imagine that a lot of women would feel like if they've been through what you have been through. And this is a very common thing. You are not the only one. You are not alone. And there is somebody that will listen to this who will feel like, fuck, yeah, dude, I'm going through this, or I've been through that. You know what I'm saying? So being in a constant like battle can wear you down, like especially with your emotions. So don't compare yourself.
Yeah.
It can exhaust you and it can break down your confidence. So don't let it do that.
Yeah.
That's what that third one is, or second one. And then the final one is the Knight of Pentacles. And Okay. There's 3 meanings for the Knight of Pentacles. The first one is efficiency, the second one is routine, but the third one I think is the most pertinent, and that has to do with a lot of hard work. And like it's real hard to work through those emotions, but as long as you have like the diligence and the relentlessness to work through these types of emotions, you're going to you're giving up is not like an option in this in your case. Just allowing those emotions to like beat you, that's not how you work as a person. So as long as you really work hard, and you have, I think, to get through those emotions and work through them, you're going to just grow and flourish as a person. And that's what that third card is.
And I will say, thank God for therapy to like to
For
allow
real.
people to have the skills to be like, this isn't going to ruin me. I have the skills to then manage this well. So like,
Yeah.
I receive that. I take it. Oh,
Yeah.
are we ready
I'm
for?
not even done yet. I'm not done
But
because
these are the
remember,
3 cards. But these
so
are the 3 cards.
so there's 3 cards that jumped, which
Mm.
I think definitely were pulled for you or any
Yeah.
woman listening to us that have felt the same way.
But
I
these
pulled
are the next 3.
yeah, these are the next 3. These are the ones that I pulled. So the 8 of Wands in reverse. It has a lot to do with like experiencing obstacles and having to slow down to really gain control over what's happening. This might also have a lot to do with like feeling emotions retroactively. Like you got to stop and like really get in touch with those emotions and think about what they mean for you. It feels like you don't have control over them, but you do. You just have to sit with them for a minute, feel where those feelings are, work through them, accept that those are natural and they're not bad, but you just have to work through. You have to slow down and work through them. Sometimes in life you can only wait. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can only sit with things. You can only get in line and wait for your turn. But once you get through it, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
All right. The second one is the King of Wands. Also in reverse. And this has a lot to do, like, okay, so the other 2 meanings is like impulsivity and being overbearing, but I think the one that's speaking to me the most is expectations that are unachievable. So when you're feeling these types of feelings and you just want to push them away, that's not something that you need to do. I'm warning you against that. I'm warning our listeners against pushing those unexpected feelings, retroactive feelings away. Don't do that. It's unrealistic to think that those are going to go away if you don't work through them. And that's really what that it's unachievable. You can't just get rid of it. You have to talk to your friends, talk to your therapist, talk to whoever it is that you can trust, that you can really lean on to get through that. Because if you think that you're going to just forget about it, you're not. You have to work through those types of feelings. And then the last card is another pentacle. This is the King of Pentacles in reverse, and hold on. Okay, this one is a little bit. So the words are like indulgence, sensuality, greed on the more extreme end. I think there's a sense of having an infinite desire for change or for getting rid of these retroactive feelings. and trying to lay them by the wayside as the master of pentacles. He's sort of like brings power to action. But if you're not like really sitting and taking time with those emotions, then you're not going to be able to like work through them. And greed, I think, is the word that I sit with the most, because like you want, and it feel like I don't mean greed in the financial financial sense. I mean greed in the like, I need to get rid of this fucking emotion. I don't need to work through it. I want to feel normal again. I want my normality back. I don't want to feel this emotion. What are you feeling?
Greedy for the future of like, I want to get back to my old self. I want to be greedy for who I thought I was. Not this.
Exactly.
Not being
exactly
vulnerability.
So if you're not really like sitting in that, and if you're not really expressing your emotions for, even if they're retroactive, even if they hurt, even if they're painful, even if they're like literally embarrassing, like I just said, then you're not going to get through it. Like this, I feel like is the warning. This pull is the warning. Like you have to work through it. Yeah. And then this pull is like, this is how you work through it. This is you working through it. Does that make sense?
I like that a lot. Yeah. Like we have
it feels like spirit is,
and we have the
spirit is telling me like, this is, you can get through it. This is how you get through it. But if you don't work yourself, if you don't work your way through this in a healthy way, it's a negative thing. It's negative. And if you're greedy for your normal life to come back, you're greedy for that normality, just get rid of those emotions, then you're just going to keep feeling them over and over. And it's just going to like eat at you. And it's going to be a detriment to your relationships and your life and your success. So yeah. I love that.
This is what I always say. Like I've been saying it for years now. I'm like, sometimes you just got to sit in the shit.
You do say that. And I love that phrase.
You got to sit in the
shit now.
I'm going to sit in the shit till I'm ready to get out of it. There you go. There it is.
I'm like a pig in the shit. I'm happy as a pig in shit. I don't give a fuck.
That's not the same saying, but
it's not. But if I got to sit in the shit, I'm turning into a pig and I'd be happy to sit in it. It's about learning the lessons. It's about working through it. It's about leaning on the people that love you. It's about working through those emotions, whether they be retroactive or current. It's about accepting your humanity in those emotions. And that, what did you call them? Somatic responses
of like where you
stretch out those spots. You feel that pain in the neck, do some neck stretches. Like I said, I feel them in the chest. So I go to the gym, I do some chest stretches, I do some chest exercises. I work through them. It's literally like releasing that emotion from that part of your body. And you have to like my advice, like when you release the emotion from that part of your body and you're like doing the stretches to release it, think about it and then stretch and like picture it releasing from your body.
Yep.
That's how I get rid of it.
Exactly. Like I carry a lot of my anxiety in my chest and I was like, I always say I need to burn it out of me. So I will then go and like do a lot of spin or swim or whatnot. I'm like, okay, now I'm ready. Now I burned that extra out of me and now I'm ready to stay in it. But oh, Jaki.
That's good. God,
what a fantastic show.
I just feel like our spirit guides really like talk to us whenever we get into these really, really deep conversations. And I'm just I want to be just for this moment. If you are, if you're a believer in your spirit guides, just whenever they give you that guidance, just sit in gratitude for those messages. And I just want to sit in gratitude for just a second and like thank our spirit guides, because I just know that they have our highest and greatest good at heart. So blessings threefold to all of our listeners.
Yes. Oh, Jaki. Thank you,
Rachael.
So much. Yes. Thank you so much. Thanks for being there for me as a friend, as a business partner. Like
when we bury the body, bitch. We're burying the body. I live in the foothills of Appalachia. They ain't never gonna catch us, except for we just put it on the internet.
Actually, like so, that is just figuratively speaking. We're figuring
it's fine. We're not really burying anybody unless they fuck.
No one was harmed in the filming of this podcast. So we were just talking about feelings only. So with that, Jackie, are you ready to meet me over on Patreon to bring this party up?
There is so much cheese may over at Patreon. I'm actually really surprised we don't have more female listeners, and it bothers me that we have more male listeners than
the
female.
boys want the cheese may of our lives.
The boys are like every single time. You don't tell us that you don't love to gossip, dudes, because we see you on our Patreon. There's a lot of you. There's a lot. Too many, quite frankly.
Yes.
I love you guys. Thank you for your support. But also, chismosos.
Chismosos. Yes. So join us over on Patreon. That's where you get the real hot goss of life. Choni's Chunkless Cheese May. We are about it. So it is $3.95 plus tax over on Patreon. Links are in the show notes below. And you get a shout out on our YouTube and the end screen as well. And like, you guys, the gloves are off on Patreon. But also,
they really are.
For our listeners, please feel free to leave us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever pods are cast. Please feel free to share the love. Tell us how much you love Whiskey Bent Spellbound.
We would love to read your comments on air.
Yes. And then you can also drop us a line on all of our social medias, whiskey-bent.spellbound, and email us at checkthisout@blackandwhitefield.com. So until next time, Jackie, I love you so much. Clinkies. Thank you for stopping by for another fantastic and fabulous show of Whiskey Bent and
Spellbound with Black
and Whitefield. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.